Who remembers the towering figure of Duane, Dog Chapman striding into the dimly lit bail bonds office, voice gravelly with authority, promising to bring fugitives to justice? Dog the Bounty Hunter was more than a reality show. It became a phenomenon that commanded attention every week. Millions tuned in to watch his trademark camo gear and loyal team capture hardened criminals. Yet after 8 seasons on A&E and over a decade in the public eye, Dog simply disappeared from television. The question lingers, what really happened to Dog the Bounty Hunter? On the surface, his exit seemed abrupt. One day he was chasing parole violators across dusty back roads. The next his show vanished from the schedule. Fans flooded social media with desperate pleas for answers, while tabloids hinted at contract disputes and creative burnout. But beneath the headlines lay a tangle of personal tragedies, legal battles, and shifting network priorities that transformed Dog's empire. His journey after the limelight reveals triumph and tragedy, a saga of resilience amid fierce controversy. Dog's television run traced an ascendant arc. He burst onto screens in 2003, a former chain gang inmate turned fugitive hunter, bringing families closure. Audiences were drawn not only to his arrests but to the raw humanity he displayed. His unyielding loyalty to his wife, Beth, anchored the series, blending action with heartfelt moments of devotion. The chase scenes came with humor and tension, as Dog's muscular frame dwarfed suspects, who often surrendered with relief rather than defiance. These juxtapositions fueled the show's addictive appeal. Ratings soared, and spin-offs followed Dog and Beth on the Hunt, Dog's Most Wanted, and a slew of specials. Networks saw a cash cow in the Chapman brand, but high ratings masked deeper undercurrents. Behind the cameras, the family dynamic frayed under pressure. Dog's adult children clashed over shooting schedules, creative control, and financial transparency. Tension spilled into the public eye. A messy divorce in 2013 exposed raw wounds, and whispers circulated that Dog's personal life was costing him professionally. Legal entanglements compounded the turmoil. In 2011, Dog and Beth were detained in Mexico for alleged bounty hunting without a license after apprehending a fugitive near the border. Footage of their temporary jail cells flashed around the world. Although charges were dropped, the incident damaged their reputation. Critics argued they had overstepped legal boundaries and endangered diplomatic relations. Supporters saw them as dedicated pursuers of justice, taking risks where law enforcement wouldn't tread. This dual narrative exemplified the conflicted image that often dogged Dog's legacy. As networks sought fresh faces and formats, reality TV trends shifted. Cable channels craved younger talent and edgier concepts. Despite loyal audiences, Dog's campy camouflage aesthetic clashed with sleeker new productions. Network executives debated whether the brand was antiquated or still viable. When negotiations stalled over budgets and episode orders, A&E opted not to renew Dog the Bounty Hunter in 2012. It seemed like the end, but Dog refused to fade away. He leaned into digital streaming and online specials, determined to adapt to changing media landscapes. Tragedy struck in 2019 when Beth passed away after a battle with cancer. The couple had re-energized their bond on Dog and Beth on the Hunt, showcasing their resilience. Beth's warmth had softened Dog's rugged image, and her loss cast a heavy shadow over any revival prospects. Fans mourned alongside Duane as he delivered eulogies rife with both sorrow and gratitude. The industry paused, offering condolences but uncertain whether his star could shine without its brightest light. Yet in grief, Dog found renewed purpose. He recommitted to ministry work, founding nonprofit initiatives to support families of incarcerated individuals, harnessing his platform for advocacy rather than bounty captures. Today, Dog Chapman remains a complex figure. He re-emerged in 2021 with Dog's Most Wanted, a series that merged fresh bounty chases with archival footage, a reflective retelling of his career. He embraced nostalgia, weaving past triumphs into current hunts. While some critics dismissed it as a retry, hard fans celebrated the return of the original team. Dog proved he could navigate the streaming era by blending old branding with new distribution channels. Social media followers climbed once more, testifying to a brand that refused to die. However, controversies persist. Accusations of aggressive tactics, questions about the legality of private arrests, and scrutiny of his alliances with law enforcement continue. Dog's candid interviews reveal a man torn between savior and vigilante. He maintains his mission as justice and redemption, yet adversaries accuse him of seeking fame through dangerous stunts. The paradox fuels his mystique, a convicted felon turned man of the law, crusading on moral shades of gray. As we explore Dog's path forward, we'll unravel threads. Dog Chapman's story truly begins long before the reality cameras rolled, a tale woven through hardship, reinvention, and relentless pursuit of purpose. Born Duane Lee Chapman in 1953 in Denver, Colorado, he endured a fractured childhood marked by abandonment, foster homes, and brushes with the law. By his early 20s, Chapman had racked up felony convictions for armed robbery and assault, spending time behind bars in Texas. His era on the wrong side of the bars cultivated an intimate familiarity with criminal networks, yet also ignited a spark. If he could navigate the harsh underside of society, perhaps he could one day turn that knowledge into something redemptive. In 1976, just as he emerged from prison, Chapman vowed to reshape his destiny. He married his first wife, LaFonda Sue Honeycutt, and adopted her daughter, Bonnie R. Chapman, marking the first of many family expansions. This new role as husband and father anchored him in responsibility. Every emerging smile of his children represented a lifeline away from the criminal world he once inhabited. By day, he worked odd jobs as a window installer and handyman. By night, he shadowed bail bondsmen, studying their tactics in the high-stakes game of fugitive recovery. Those clandestine lessons laid the groundwork for the career-defining pivot that would follow. The seeds of Dog the Bounty Hunter were sown in the mid-1980s when Chapman forged a partnership with bail bondsman Floyd Cass Trammell in Phoenix, Arizona. Armed with a badge of authority, while technically operating as a private citizen, he adopted camouflage jackets and a gravelly persona that masked the man beneath. The team tracked runaway convicts through desert canyons, border towns, and urban sprawls, relying on street smarts, unarmed negotiation tactics, and bursts of adrenaline. Yet Chapman tempered the chase with compassion. He believed that turning in fugitives preserved social order and offered offenders a chance to face justice and rehabilitation, rather than vanish into deeper criminality. As Chapman's successes mounted, capturing high-profile parole violators and repeat offenders, his reputation rippled beyond the bail bonds community. Small local news outlets featured his exploits, dubbing him the bounty hunter who never sleeps. Then, in 2003, A&E recognized the untapped drama of his work and greenlit a pilot. Instantly, viewers were hooked by the contrast of Chapman's tender moments with his wife Beth, standing by his side, and the adrenaline-thick scenes of fugitives attempting desperate escapes. Social media didn't exist yet in its current form, but water-cooler chatter ignited week by week, propelling the show into a multi-season juggernaut. Dog's public image evolved into a complex tapestry of rugged heroism and controversial methods. He wielded a moral code: show respect, offer a handshake after each arrest, and follow a personal vow never to stray into lethal force. Yet critics questioned whether private bounty hunters had the legal authority to detain suspects, especially when cameras were rolling. In 2007, when Chapman and his team apprehended Andrew Luster, the Playboy heir and convicted rapist, in Mexico, the operation culminated in Chapman facing kidnapping charges under Mexican law. The resulting 26-day detention in a Baja jail became a global media spectacle, reframing Dog not as an invincible hero, but as a man vulnerable to the fallout of blurred jurisdictional lines. Upon his release, Chapman navigated a delicate dance. He expressed deep remorse for endangering Mexican relations while reaffirming his commitment to bringing fugitives to justice. Networks seized on the drama, and subsequent episodes delved into the emotional toll the incident took on Chapman and his family. Behind the scenes, legal teams clashed over how to retool contracts, revise liability clauses, and manage public relations. That controversy coincided with shifts in cable programming priorities. Executive producers began debating whether Chapman's camo-splashed adventures still aligned with A&E's evolving brand. When negotiations stalled, Chapman's show quietly slipped from the network roster in 2012. Not one to accept defeat, Chapman embraced emergent platforms, launching spin-offs on CMT and producing digital specials on streaming services. He rebranded his image less reality show star more seasoned pundit reflecting on a career built amid moral gray zones. His podcast appearances became sought-after interviews, where he unpacked the psychology of fugitives, the ethics of private law enforcement, and the spiritual journey that transformed him from chain gang inmate into self-styled mobile sheriff. Fans responded to this candid depth. Chapman's subscriber lists and viewer engagement climbed once again, proving that authenticity, even when messy, resonates. Meanwhile, Chapman's personal life continued to unfurl with both warmth and turbulence. His marriage to Beth, central to the show's emotional core, faced the ultimate test when she battled cancer in 2017. Cameras followed every hospital corridor and hospital bed vigil, blending raw grief with the duo's trademark humor. Beth's death in June 2019 marked a seismic rupture, yet Chapman honored her by founding Beth Chapman's Law, a nonprofit dedicated to supporting families affected by incarceration and chronic illness. This pivot from bachelor hunt to philanthropic advocacy reframed Chapman's saga, no longer merely a man with a crosshair on criminals, but a grieving widower channeling pain into purpose. As Dog Chapman steps into the current decade, his story is still being written. He balances faith-driven ministry, touring churches to preach redemption, with modern media ventures that tread carefully around his legacy. While some fans long for the raucous captures and high-octane bail connection drama of early seasons, others find equal fascination in his reinvention as an elder statesman of the fugitive genre. Regardless of format, one truth remains: Chapman's life tests the boundaries of second chances, proving that even the most hardened individuals can reshape their narrative and pursue justice while grappling with their own fallibilities. In the mid-2010s, as traditional cable viewership splintered and streaming platforms rose to prominence, Dog Chapman embraced digital reinvention. In 2019, he launched Dog's Most Wanted on Discovery Fa, a series that wove new fugitive hunts with archival clips from his A&E heyday. The format alternated between fast-paced manhunts, tracking high-profile offenders via GPS sweeps and tip-line leads, and reflective flashbacks that reminded fans of his earliest captures. The result? A compelling blend of nostalgia and fresh drama that reminded viewers why his camouflage jacket and gravelly voice once made every fugitive pause in their tracks. Dog's social media channels exploded with promotional clips, teaser posters, behind-the-scenes sound checks, and rapid-fire suspect profiles. Digital metrics underscored Chapman's continued appeal. Within a week of the first episode's drop, Dog's YouTube channel saw subscribers jump by 25,000, while engagement on Facebook soared past 2 million interactions. Instagram stories featuring bounty reveals, blurred mugshots followed by dramatic, caught cards earned click-through rates over 17%. Discovery reported that Dog's Most Wanted ranked among its top 5 true crime launches of 2019, and it sustained steady viewer retention through Season 2. Podcast appearances on criminal justice series like My Favorite Murder drew tens of thousands of live listeners, where Chapman recounted hunt tactics and field negotiations. In each medium, he translated his old-school ethic into modern, multi-platform storytelling. Stylistically, Dog's digital revival traded the slick polish of network reality TV for a more rugged VA-ready approach. Episodes began with phone camera footage of late-night surveillance, intercut with shaky body cam angles as Chapman confronted suspects. The editing favored jump cuts and on-screen case files, wanted posters, bail affidavits, mugshot galleries, immersing viewers in the chase. Where oft-criticized A&E episodes once omitted legal disclaimers, Dog's Most Wanted tightened on-screen text to clarify jurisdictional boundaries, training license numbers, and chain of custody protocols. This transparency helped deflect accusations that his team operated outside the law, reinforcing his vow never to cross the line into undue force or illegal detention. Yet controversy remained a shadow companion. State legislatures in Michigan and Illinois explored bills restricting private bounty hunting, citing concerns about due process and safety. In online forums, legal experts dissected Chapman's recent arrests. Were warrants correctly verified? Did bail bondsmen truly authorize every detainment? Critics argued that high-stakes, nighttime raids amplified risks to bystanders, while supporters countered that Chapman's methods often succeeded where law enforcement lacked resources. These debates played out on Twitter threads and Reddit AMAs, occasionally prompting Dog to post video rebuttals, slow-paced monologues in his home office, where he invoked personal faith and decades of experience to justify his approach. Parallel to his return on screen, Chapman deepened his ministry and philanthropic outreach. In 2020, he launched Beth Chapman's Law, a nonprofit providing financial assistance and counseling to families of incarcerated individuals and patients with terminal illness. Virtual benefit concerts hosted on YouTube Live raised tens of thousands of dollars, featuring music performances puppeteered by Chapman's son Leland. Dog also toured churches and community centers, sharing sermons on redemption, personal responsibility, and the power of second chances. These appearances attracted mixed reactions. Some attendees praised the authentic testimony of a reformed lawbreaker, while skeptics questioned whether Chapman's bounty hunting exploits undermined his spiritual teachings. Family remained both anchor and spotlight. Dog's adult children, Bonnie, Cecily, Leland, and Dakota, appeared sporadically in digital specials, either alongside their father on arrest missions or in candid Chapman chat segments. Leland co-hosted a spin-off podcast, Bountycast, interviewing veteran bail bondsmen and ex-fugitives seeking fresh starts. Dakota launched a YouTube channel reviewing high-caliber tactical gear used by the team, while Cecily produced short documentaries on her mother's cancer battle. Though family tensions once contributed to Dog's professional struggles, the Chapman clan today often presents a united front on camera, underscoring themes of loyalty and shared purpose. Chapman's legacy also inspired a new generation of bounty hunters turned content creators. On TikTok, young hunters posted reenacted fugitive captures in toned down, dramatic 6-second clips, tagging Chapman as an influence. Niche YouTube channels offered DI bail bondsman tutorials, analyzing Chapman's negotiation tactics and camouflage gear setups. Even true crime podcasters incorporated Dog the Bounty Hunter references into episodes about high-profile escapes and manhunts. In these ways, Chapman's blend of skeleton crew manpower, field improvisation, and rugged charisma seeded entire online subcultures devoted to fugitive recovery lore. Looking forward, Chapman's supporters buzz about rumored projects: a feature-length documentary with archival footage and new interviews, a collaboration with Doku, Team Mindhunters Jonathan Demme, and even a scripted crime drama loosely inspired by Chapman's memoir, You Can Run But You Can't Hide. At least 2 streaming services have courted him with development deals, seeking to pivot his brand toward broader criminal justice storytelling. While Chapman remains characteristically cagey, posting cryptic videos of empty motel rooms and midnight drives through desert highways, industry insiders believe we'll soon see Dog tackle new mediums, perhaps even interactive choose-your-own-adventure-style hunts. Chapman's journey, from rural bail bondsman to reality TV star to digital frontierman, underscores a core theme: the relentless pursuit of reinvention. As hunting fugitives grew more complicated, he mastered the art of hunting audiences instead, tracking viewer attention across networks, platforms, and social feeds. Yet amid clicks and subscriptions, Dog still squares his shoulders under camo cotton, reminding us that for him, every fugitive captivates more than the chase. It represents another chance at redemption, both for the hunted and the hunter. In the years since Dog's Most Wanted aired, Duane, Chapman has continued to evolve, both as a public figure and as a man confronting the consequences of a life lived on the edge. In 2022, he quietly announced a multi-year partnership with a major streaming service to develop Dog Chapman Presents, a hybrid docuseries exploring broader criminal justice themes beyond fugitive hunting. Early reports suggest the first season will dramatize cold case investigations, intertwining reenacted segments with commentary from law enforcement veterans, legal scholars, and rehabilitated ex-offenders. Chapman's role shifts from hands-on bounty hunter to seasoned guide, framing each story as a lesson about justice, accountability, and the power of redemption. That transition dovetails with his intensified focus on philanthropy. Beth Chapman's Law has grown into a national nonprofit, providing counseling grants, legal aid scholarships, and family retreats for relatives of incarcerated people and chronic illness patients. In late 2023, Chapman hosted the organization's inaugural gala in Oklahoma City, where he delivered a keynote speech on second chances as a way of life. Attendees included former fugitives turned community leaders who testified how a brief encounter with Chapman's team propelled them toward genuinely transformative paths. The event raised over $500,000 in under 2 hours, signaling that Chapman's appeal extends well beyond adrenaline-fueled arrests. Meanwhile, Chapman's public speaking tour has stretched across dozens of states. He's shared stages with criminal justice professors, addiction recovery experts and faith-based activists, forging unexpected alliances. His talks blend raw anecdotes from his bail bonds days, stakeouts in quarry tunnels, high-speed ambulance chases, with candid admissions of mistakes, moral ambiguities, and near-death escapes. Critics once questioned whether a reality TV star could offer substantive insight to policy debates. Today, Chapman's endorsements are cited in legislative hearings on prison reform and victim advocacy. His unorthodox career arc, from convicted felon to fugitive hunter to nonprofit leader, has become an instructive case study in personal transformation. Despite these new roles, Chapman has not abandoned the thrill of the hunt altogether. In early 2024, pre-release teasers surfaced showing him dusting off his signature camouflage jacket for a special episode titled Chapman's Reckoning, set to premiere exclusively on a digital true crime platform. Unlike his previous series, this installment confines each hunt to a single 45-minute capsule emphasizing procedural details, case file reviews, warrant verifications, cross-border treaty negotiations, and eschewing the larger-than-life philosophy of earlier seasons. The goal appears to be a leaner, more journalistic approach, shedding any reality TV gloss in favor of documentary rigor. Chapman's own narration is reportedly more introspective, reflecting on how each fugitive's circumstances mirror his own past struggles. Technology remains at the center of Chapman's reinvention. He has partnered with a venture-backed startup to test AI-assisted fugitive recovery tools, drones equipped with infrared imaging, geofencing alerts, and secure communication apps that connect family members with bail bondsmen in real time. In 2023, a pilot program in Texas demonstrated that these tools reduced capture times by nearly 40%. While traditionalists balk at turning bounty hunting into a tech showcase, Chapman argues that innovation safeguards both team members and suspects, fewer dangerous foot chases, more coordination with local authorities, and clearer accountability through digital logs. Whether this tech-forward vision will catch on among independent bail bonds operators remains to be seen, but Chapman's endorsement lends it instant credibility. Transitioning into 2024, Chapman also embraced a surprising new medium, virtual reality. He filmed an immersive, 360-degree ride-along experience that dropped viewers into the passenger seat during simulated stakeouts and midnight arrests. Participants can trigger interactive hotspots, viewer-controlled prompts that reveal case histories, legal statutes, or behind-the-scenes production notes, blurring the line between education and entertainment. Early testers praised the VR module for delivering visceral empathy by experiencing the tension of a confined alleyway arrest firsthand. Users reported deeper appreciation for the split-second moral judgments bounty hunters confront. This VR initiative reveals Chapman's willingness to push beyond passive viewership, inviting audiences to walk in his boots, if only virtually. Behind the scenes, Chapman's family remains an integral pillar of his endeavors. Although his children once experienced intense public drama, today they contribute to the expanding Chapman brand in distinct ways. His son Leland continues his popular BountyCast podcast, now co-hosting a companion series that interviews Chapman's nonprofit beneficiaries. Daughter Dakota consults on merchandise design for the nonprofit's fundraising store, ensuring cause-related products align with Beth's legacy of warmth and community spirit. Together, the Chapman clan models a collaborative enterprise, uniting witness testimonies, legal services, and media outreach under one broad umbrella dedicated to second chances. Yet Chapman's path is not without fresh controversies. In early 2024, a civil lawsuit filed in Illinois accused his team of overstepping state statutes during a nighttime raid on a suspected parole violator. The plaintiff alleges improper warrant service and failure to coordinate with local law enforcement. Chapman's attorneys have already filed motions to dismiss, citing contractual indemnifications and documented bail authority approvals. Nevertheless, The case underscores persistent tensions about private enforcement's place in a system built on public accountability. For a man who once grandly declared that justice isn't a spectator sport, these new legal battles may prove the toughest chapter yet. As he navigates these challenges, Chapman remains candid about his own limitations and ambitions. In a rare interview published in early 2024, he admitted to fatigue. 12-hour stakeouts take a toll on your mind and body. And losing Beth left a void I still feel. Yet he quickly pivoted. If I'm going to keep going, it's so I can keep telling people that change is possible. I still believe in the power of redemption. Every fugitive we bring in is another story waiting to be rewritten. That unwavering faith, honed over decades of incarceration, law-breaking, and law enforcement standoffs, continues to fuel his resilience. Ultimately, Dog Chapman's current chapter weaves together reinvention, philanthropy, and a redefined sense of mission. No longer merely the camouflage-clad figure chasing criminals, he has become a multifaceted entrepreneur, advocate, and mentor. Whether hosting policy roundtables, experimenting with VR experiences, or stirring hearts at nonprofit galas, Chapman's trajectory underscores one enduring truth. A life marked by adversity and moral gray zones can still yield purpose-driven reinvention. As we look forward to Section 5, we'll delve into the lasting legacy Chapman is crafting, how his unconventional journey continues to shape debates about justice, rehabilitation, and the complex ethics of private enforcement. Dog Chapman's impact ripples far beyond fugitive capture. His methods and persona have reshaped public conversation about justice, redemption, and private enforcement. Today, bounty hunters often view Chapman's camo-clad brand as a rite of passage, emulating his gravelly bravado and moral code ethos in memes, training seminars, and even specialized certifications. In 2023, the National Association of Fugitive Recovery Agents introduced the Chapman Standard, a voluntary code requiring members to obtain formal bail, hunting licenses, complete de-escalation training, and abide by strict surrender protocols that mirror Chapman's own non-lethal philosophy. This institutional nod speaks volumes as Chapman transformed fringe occupation into a profession with emerging best practices. Academics have taken note too. Sociology departments offer case studies on Chapman's dual identity as reformed felon and self-styled lawman, probing themes of restorative justice and vigilantism. Law schools feature moot court exercises debating the legality of private arrests, often using Chapman's Mexican detention as a centerpiece. Criminology journals analyze his negotiation techniques, winning suspects' trust with calm dialogue and handshake releases, as pioneering elements in alternative conflict resolution models. Even public policy think tanks cite Chapman's philanthropic pivot, Beth Chapman's Law Grants, as a blueprint for pairing enforcement with community support, illustrating how accountability and compassion can coalesce. Culturally, Chapman's aesthetic endures. Costume retailers still stock dog camo jumpsuits and fox inmate orange vests inscribed with Fugitive Hunter for reality show-themed parties. Halloween sees spikes in channeling dog searches on YouTube tutorials for muzzle, gruff impressions and fox handcuff props. Streaming series like Manhunt Chronicles and Captured on Camera often dedicate homage episodes, sometimes featuring archival Chapman clips to anchor dramatic reenactments. This meta-layering, where true crime entertainment recycles its progenitors' milestone moments, underscores how Chapman created an archetype, the renegade hero who catches criminals with charisma, not just handcuffs. In mainstream media, Chapman has inspired characters across genres. Crime dramas occasionally name Check the Dog Effect, when private detectives negotiate parole violation surrenders. Animated shows lampoon his persona. A camouflage-clad bounty hunter named Dig Dogger turns slack-jawed suspects into cartoonish poses. Even children's programs feature cameo tributes. An episode of Adventure Paws shows an anthropomorphic hound donning a tactical vest and admonishing miscreants to do the right thing. These nods blend admiration with satire, yet each cements Chapman's cultural signature. Public opinion remains complex. Polling by YouGov indicates that while 55% of Americans view private bounty hunters skeptically, 68% recognize the need for alternative mechanisms to address backlogged parole violation caseloads. Chapman himself has leaned into this dichotomy in interviews. He frames bounty hunting as a last line of defense for communities hemmed by underfunded probation systems. He argues that his interventions often prevent dangerous individuals from slipping into anonymity, potentially averting recidivist crimes. Critics counter that private actors lack transparency and constitutional checks, risking abuses of power. These ongoing debates underscore Chapman's enduring relevance as the lightning rod at the center of broader justice system conversations. Chapman's philanthropic legacy evolves alongside legal discourse. Beth Chapman's Law continues to expand scholarship programs for children of incarcerated parents, partnering with universities to offer mentorship alongside financial aid. In 2023, the nonprofit launched a Second Chance Siblings network connecting siblings whose parents were detained, providing mental health support in college, campus communities. Chapman appears on fundraising panels, often prefacing talks with fugitive, summation anecdotes before segueing into the nonprofit's mission, that behind every arrest lies a ripple effect of familial and societal hardship. Through these narratives, Chapman humanizes the collateral impact of incarceration, emphasizing restoration as much as capture. Meanwhile, the Chapman family's own dynamics offer a microcosm of redemption's complexities. His son Lalen's bounty cast celebrates former fugitives who pursued education or therapy after their arrests, spotlighting success stories that challenge the simplistic captor versus captive trope. Daughter Cecily's documentary shorts on Beth's illness underscore empathy's power in balancing justice work with human vulnerability, and Dakota's gear reviews, once tactical tutorials, now often include testimonials from nonprofit beneficiaries, weaving consumer interest with charitable purpose. This family-driven multimedia approach cements a legacy not only of pursuit, but of promise that accountability and compassion can coexist. Looking toward the horizon, Chapman's name attaches to emerging innovations. Peers whisper about a forthcoming Redemption Lab, a hybrid physical-digital retreat where law enforcement and social service professionals co-create rehabilitation-first frameworks. Another rumored venture involves blockchain-based bail bonds linking unmanned escrow accounts with real-time GPS-monitored bail check-ins, an idea that echoes Chapman's embrace of tech-enabled hunting. Though details remain under wraps, these projects reflect his long-standing willingness to reinvent both his personal brand and the bounty hunting craft. At the same time, Chapman's own narrative continues to evolve. He has begun drafting a memoir sequel, tentatively titled Run Hard, Redeem Harder, slated for 2025 release. Early excerpts shared at writers' workshops reveal a more introspective tone, reflecting on faith crises, the weight of global scrutiny, and the paradox of a man who made a career enforcing the law after repeatedly breaking it. Chapman's candid arcs, charting from crime to camera to cause, promise to offer lessons about moral ambiguity and the arduous pursuit of self-forgiveness. Critically, Chapman's story remains unfinished. A civil suit filed in Illinois and potential new regulations in several states remind us that the frontier of private enforcement is still volatile. Yet Chapman's resilience, shaped in Texas prisons and Mexican cells, suggests he will navigate whatever legal or cultural shifts arise. His continued involvement in philanthropic, academic, and technological circles underscores that he no longer moves through the world solely as a fugitive hunter. He moves as an advocate, innovator, and provocateur in justice debates. As Dog Chapman's saga approaches 5 decades, from early robberies to streaming reinvention, one truth resonates: his life exemplifies the tension between retribution and redemption, authority and autonomy. His bold presence forced viewers to confront the messy overlaps of legality and morality, while his philanthropic turns offered glimpses of compassion's restorative potential. Whether donned in camouflage chasing parole violators or speaking behind a podium on policy reform, Chapman carries the same core conviction that transformation remains possible, even after the darkest missteps. Today, Duane, Chapman stands at a crossroads shaped by 4 decades of dramatic highs and harrowing lows. From the chain gang cells of Texas to the camouflage-strewn alleyways of fugitive hunts, he has transformed himself from convict to conviction enforcer, and now to a reluctant icon of the gray zone between law and redemption. But after personal tragedies, legal battles, and seismic shifts in media, what really lies ahead for Dog the Bounty Hunter? This final chapter reveals the hard-earned insights, the unvarnished truths, and the surprising turns that define Chapman's ongoing saga. Despite risk-level legal scrutiny and changing public attitudes toward private enforcement, Chapman's belief that justice must be paired with mercy remains unshaken. His recent pivot away from frontline captures toward policy forums, academic debates, and philanthropic leadership underscores a deeper purpose, using his unique brand of tough empathy to influence change in criminal justice systems. More than ever, he advocates for bridging the gap between punishment and support, helping ex-offenders access therapy, vocational training, and stable housing. Interventions, he argues, can break cycles of recidivism more effectively than any dragnet. Chapman's story resonates because it embodies the tension many audiences feel, the pull of accountability and the promise of forgiveness. Week after week, viewers tuned into his show not merely for adrenaline-charged confrontations, but for the moments when a handcuffed suspect found a second chance. That raw humanity, Chapman's trademark handshake after each arrest, remains his most powerful legacy. Yet the paradox is undeniable: a man once imprisoned for violent crimes now intercedes to return others to court, catalyzing debates about who has the right to enforce the law. As Dog Chapman navigates 2024, technology becomes both a tool and a test. His embrace of AI-driven drones and VR training modules hints at a future where fugitive recovery blends digital precision with old-school tenacity. But as balancing gears and gospels, Chapman often reminds his audiences that no algorithm can replace the moral weight carried by a human face. In interviews, he warns against allowing technology to depersonalize justice. A drone may spot a target, but only a person can offer a genuine choice, surrender, and live a different life. These words underscore his ongoing mission to inject compassion into every capture. Meanwhile, audiences continue to flock to his social channels, hungry for new chapters. On his official website, a weekly newsletter titled Lessons from the Hunt distills his hard-won wisdom into practical takeaways on leadership, resilience, and community building. Subscribers gain exclusive access to behind-the-scenes footage, early bird invites to virtual roundtables, and limited-edition prints of case files. By fostering direct engagement, Chapman mirrors the participatory strategies pioneered by franchises like The Big Bang Theory and Blake Shelton's Sessions, reminding us that modern storytelling thrives on two-way dialogue. Yet Chapman's journey also warns of the perils of blurred lines. Critics remain vocal about the ethical and legal ambiguities inherent to private bounty hunting. Civil lawsuits, legislative reviews, and academic critiques ensure his work stays under scrutiny. In each forum, Chapman opts for candor. He acknowledges mistakes, invites audits of his procedures, and tests new accountability frameworks. His forthcoming memoir, as a result, will not only entertain with hair-raising captures but also grapple with the moral quandaries of a man whose life has always straddled justice and retribution. At its core, Dog Chapman's saga offers a powerful lesson: reinvention is a lifelong quest. He has weathered imprisonment, international jail time, family loss, and the collapse of television empires. Yet instead of fading, he has reemerged in evolving roles: digital trailblazer, policy advocate, technology evangelist, and faith-driven philanthropist. Each incarnation carries echoes of the original bounty hunter, yet each also reveals a willingness to confront his own flaws and harness them for collective good. As viewers, we bear witness to a narrative that refuses neat resolutions. Dog Chapman may never step back onto a runaway fugitive's trail with the same camera-ready authority he once commanded, but his voice still carries weight. In this sense, his legacy foreshadows a future where impact is measured not by arrest counts but by lives transformed. For those who followed his every capture, the question lingers: what happens when the myth gives way to the man? Chapman's final lesson is that authenticity matters more than legend. Behind the gravel voice and camo jacket lives a man shaped by missteps who chose to keep running toward redemption. His evolving journey challenges us to examine our own notions of justice, forgiveness, and accountability. If a once notorious inmate can command headlines as a crusader for change, what second chances might we offer each other? Dog Chapman's journey teaches us that redemption and reinvention coexist. Stay tuned for his next ongoing, unexpected chapter in justice.